everybody. Welcome to the TuVues podcast, man, where we talk about a little bit of everything just to uplift the culture, uplift our communities, and make sure we get some good advice to people as we move forward through this world. So, thank y'all for joining us today. I'm Keith, and we got Kevin, my other half on the other side over there, Kev G.
Yes, sir.
I'll let you introduce our guest, brother.
Yeah, man. We this is gonna be a special podcast where we're gonna be talking about coaching and mentorship. So we got some of Manuel's finest over here, the head coach of Manuel High School football in Peoria, Dennis Bailey. We got Paul Burst, who is the coach of the basketball team. What's up, fellas?
What up, man?
What's going on, bro?
Yeah, man. So this is gonna be fun, man. You know how we always start out.
Yes, sir.
What you say?
I said Rams in the building.
Yeah. Rams, man. That's why we had to do it. Rams everywhere. You feel me? So, man, you know how we always start this podcast off, man. We do a top five, man. Today's top five, I'm trying to pull mine up real quick. So, since we got athletes and coaches on the call, I mean, we're going to do the top five greatest athletes of all time. Greatest athletes of all time.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm going to go first.
Are you going to kick it off?
No,
Go ahead, kick it off.
All time. Let me kick mine off, man. So I'm going to start with my number five, and I'm going to go to my one. Number five is Deion Sanders, right? He dominated two sports. Like, he was good at two sports. So he's going to be my number five, man. Something special about being in two sports and being good at it. You know what I mean? So I got to roll with Deion at my five. Then I'm going to have Serena. My next four, though, it's a reason why they're my next four. So my four is Serena Williams, right? She the GOAT of women's tennis. Now, the reason why she ain't higher than what she is because everybody else on my list is the GOAT in the entire sport, men's or women's, right? If she was the best of all time in the entire sport, she'd probably be higher, but I'll put her at my four. My three is Michael Phelps. That man, the gold medal champion in swimming, like he dominated the game, bro. Like there is none better, and I don't think there ever will be anybody better than him at swimming. It's simple. Now my number one and my two, man, I'm finna roll with Messi, man. I'm going down on Messi, man, out of Argentina. They just won a World Cup. That man been dominating for years. And the reason why he at my two is because soccer is a worldwide sport. He's the best in a worldwide sport. How can he not be in your top five? And then my one, I'm gonna sit at my one. I know he was gonna be on y'all list. But my one, of course, y'all probably got on y'all list is MJ. And the reason why MJ on top of my list at one is because he made a sport that wasn't global. It was because of him. Basketball stretched worldwide. And his name, his shoes still make billions. You know what I mean? So that's my top five. We got Jordan, Messi, Serena. Who else I got? Who's my four? Phelps and Phelps, Serena, and then Deion.
All right, man. It's two you got, man. That ain't even on my list, man. I think you missed some. I think you missed some key names, man. And can I throw an honorable mention out there because I know
honorable mention, man.
So here go my honorable mention. Yeah, just this one honorable mention, man. You got to give it to the GOAT of hockey. You got to give it Wayne Gretzky. Yeah. It's gonna be my honorable mention, man. The way the man handled the puck, man. You got to put my man. So he didn't make my list, but that's my honorable mention. All right, so I'm gonna go with my number five. I got Bolt. Usain Bolt, right? You talk about the most dominant men's sprinter in the world ever. One of the most dominant track stars ever, and ain't nobody's gonna touch most of his records ever, right? So I'm gonna go with him at my five. I think we agree kind of on Michael Phelps. Ain't gonna be another Michael Phelps. So dominate men's swimming, dominate swimming in general. This one is one of my personal favorite, but I had to put my man's on the list, and I know he ain't gonna be on your list, man. My guy Shaq. I'm gonna tell you why I'm putting Shaq there. You talking about the most dominant big man of all time, right?
That was the question.
Hold on. I know it's got the question. You said one of the greats. You talking about a man who's on an all-time scoring list with 2-pointers, with dunks and layups.
No
you see what I'm saying? Like I don't think Shaq gets the credit. No threes. I don't think Shaq gets the credit he can get when. Think about it. Anybody getting a post. I don't care. Even I was watching the thing where MJ was talking today. He was like, Shaq went up and I went up when we first played with the Magic. I went up for a shot, and Shaq bodied him. He said I was intimidated. This from his airness was like I was intimidated. He's like, has Shaq not? He said, has Shaq not reached down to pick me up off the ground? He's like, I'd have been afraid for the whole game. But when Shaq did that, reached down and got me, I said, I had him. And then he said he got up and he told Shaq, man, don't ever help nobody up. And then after that, that's when Jordan got 63, right? But you got some of the GOATs of all time are saying, look, I'm afraid of this dude. Like, this dude is the most dominant player in NBA history. So I know he may not be on your all-time list, man, but I put him up there. My number 2, and I think she's too low on your list. My number 2 is Serena Williams. I mean, you talking about the fastest volley of all time, the fastest ace of all time. You talking about somebody when you get on she can play she cannot play a whole year.
Women's side. On the women's side, she's the greatest tennis player of all time. She's the greatest tennis player of all time. Come on, man. Just look at her stats and her serves, man. She's the greatest tennis player of all time. But you know my number 1, his airness, man. Like you said, he changed a sport that wasn't global, made it global. His name, people who ain't even watched Jordan ever on the screen know Michael Jordan, right? And I think that's what LeBron James is going to struggle with catching up with Jordan, is that his name will never go as far, right? You can go over to Africa and you say Michael Jordan, they know who Michael Jordan is, right? You go to Croatia, they know who he is.
Yeah, because this shoe is not.
I just think that his name go too far. I mean, so his airness is my number 1.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
If I got to do an honorable mention,
remind you.
If I got to do an honorable mention, I'm gonna do LeBron just off the strength that he's still playing. I don't like to really put him when they still going, but
yeah,
he is definitely for longevity. You know what I'm saying? Like what he doing, I don't think nobody ever did. Like for as long as he, you know what I'm saying, been playing, he's still at the top. Might not be number 1, but he been in the top 5 since probably 06. That's a long time for an NBA player. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna go with
and
I'm gonna have to go with Serena. What you trying to say, bro? Go ahead. Serena Williams.
As your 4?
I got 5. 5. I got her at 5.
Okay. Yeah, because Brown was your honorable mention. Okay.
Yeah, I got at 4 I got Phelps. Like you said, it'll never be another Michael Phelps. He was dominant.
Mm-hmm.
I got at 3, I got Usain Bolt. Dude, a true athlete, man. He dominated track. Like it wasn't even close when he was out there. 2, I'm gonna go with Deion just off the strength that he dominated 2 sports. Deion dominated 2 sports, so I'm gonna give him second. You know what I'm saying? That's hard for him. How many players? I mean, how many athletes we had do that?
2.
Can y'all think offhand? I know Bo Jackson played Bo, but how many dominated Bo?
Hey, I'm gonna put Bo over. That's why I put Bo over Deion. I put Bo over Deion.
No, Bo didn't play long enough.
homers.
He didn't play long. He didn't play long enough.
All right.
Yeah, Deion.
Who your 1?
Then I'm gonna go MJ 1. MJ for sure. Michael Jordan.
So that's 3 MJs. 3 MJs.
It's gonna be 4. I got 5 Michael Phelps. That's what I was thinking. Then 4 Deion Sanders. Like a lot of reasons, same reasons y'all was thinking. Like Michael Phelps popped up in my head when I really started thinking about everybody. Then 3, I'm gonna throw in Jerry Rice, man. Then because he did some stuff that's being done now that still ain't being touched. And back in the running game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He did it for a long time. Like you see the 49ers in the back, but I watched it. He did it for a long, like 20 years, 21 years, and got records that still ain't close to being touched in the passing game. So then 2, well, 3 Deion, then 2 we're gonna go LeBron, man. I mean, I gotta go up with y'all know I'm a LeBron fan, man. I'm throwing him up there, man. Because what he doing, man.
At the top of everybody's
list, he did some stuff, man, for a long time. Like, you look back at Jordan, what
Yeah.
Jordan doing now, obviously number one, because he just changed everything about being an athlete, man. So, like, Jordan, everybody wanted the shoes, everybody wanted the clothes, everybody wanted the look. Jordan changed everything about being an
Jordan.
athlete, man. So,
Yes, sir.
and an honorable mention, I'll probably
He made it.
go, I don't know, man. Bo Jackson is an honorable mention. Just if he did longer in football, he'd be up there.
Bo was that
Yeah,
dude.
but LeBron, man.
Hey man, y'all had honorable mentions. I gotta give y'all my honorable mentions. See, everybody had honorable mentions. Let me give y'all mine. The greatest of all time to ever play on a football field, Lawrence Taylor. That's my honorable mention.
If he wasn't no sack master and an athlete out there, yeah. But that boy, man, he changed the game too. He made the left tackle the left tackle.
Hey, what?
I mean,
Hey, what number the
y'all know?
LT wear? Hey, what number the LT wear?
What you say? Number 50, man. You know what number he wore? Number 56, man.
Yeah.
You know what it is, man.
That's what they used to call Kevin in college, man. Baby LT. That's what they used to call him.
Hey, but I'm disappointed in all y'all, though. How y'all gonna not have Messi on y'all list, man? Y'all don't know soccer, though. That's what it is. Y'all don't know soccer, bro.
DB didn't have Serena.
I know I didn't, man. I thought about Serena, though, because she dominated. It's like she did that, man, but... I put Michael Phelps. I gave her Michael Phelps. You know what I mean?
The only thing I have against Serena, man, is that she's not in my opinion, she's not the dominant in the sport in its entirety, right? She's the most dominant woman, cool, but she's not the most dominant of all time.
Man,
I think your mic disconnected.
A lot of them people that we mentioned, man, changed the game, man. They changed how stuff was done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. Hey, she definitely you got to give it to her, bro. She broke a lot of records too.
Yeah.
And she still smacking.
That's why she on my list. So I'm not mad at her. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna say nobody had a bogus. I think every list was good except for the Shaq one, man. Nah. You can't put Shaq in the top 5, bro. And Shaq is one of my favorite players of all time, man. But Shaq is not in the top 5. Shaq,
hey man, you gonna say that when I log off, man? Listen, man.
That was terrible,
I love
bro.
Shaq, man. You know I love. But I'm just saying though, when you see a big man in the middle that you have to double, triple team at all times, and I'm still gonna get 40.
Really,
but this is the thing. The question is greatest player of all time. Is Shaq one of the top 5 greatest basketball players of all time? No,
in my opinion,
not
yes.
top five basketball players of all time. He's not in the top 5 basketball players. Let me guess, you a basketball coach, man. I bet you can name at least 7 people you'll put over Shaq. At least 7.
Yeah, Shaq, if he ain't, like you said, if he ain't top 5, he definitely top 7.
Yeah, I mean, so
if I had to pick,
the question is greatest of all time.
Okay, well, if that's the case, take Shaq out and just butt mine up because I think we overlooking what Wayne Gretzky was able to do in hockey, man. I'm sorry, we should be overlooking what Wayne Gretzky was able to do in hockey.
I would prefer you have left Shaq in. Anyway, man, let's move in.
Bro.
He's skating around all day, man. I don't know if he's getting tired out there on them joints. No.
Hey, man.
He did what he did, though, right?
Watch the hockey game, man.
Well, I mean,
it ain't easy, bro. You can tell it ain't easy. Yeah.
Well, what they do with that puck, man? I was just watching one day, watching the Blackhawks, like, it's like Iverson crossover the way they handle those pucks, man. I'm like, this is crazy. Just watch it, Kevin. You ain't no hockey fan. Just watch it, bro.
Yeah, he was
just say this for sure. I'll give it to him. Yep. Yeah. I just want to say this before we move on. Your list trash, Keith. Everybody else list decent. Your list trash. Gretzky and Shaq.
Come on, man. Okay, even if you take those off, I had Serena, Jordan, Phelps, and Usain Bolt. What you mean trash?
You know who I put over Gretzky though?
Yeah, you know.
But you know who I put over Gretzky? You could say Tony Hawk, man.
Hey man, go to the rest of the podcast, man.
All right, man. Let's move on, man. Let's move on. All right, man. So like we said today, man, we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about coaching and mentorship. So the big thing about all four of us on this podcast is that we've all either we're coaching or we've coached before, and we understand that the importance of it. And so we want to have this podcast today, just go over let's talk about like what coaching means to us and any type of how we deal with certain situations, man. So that's the first question, really, man. To anybody that want to go first, first of all, you can tell what you coach and what you do, and then just tell us what coaching means to you. Like, what does actually being a coach mean to you?
I'll kick it off, man.
I mean, I can go first. You go ahead, BB.
I've been coaching about 12 years now, man. Coaching at Manual High School. I've been 5 years in high school. Coaching means a lot to me, man. I didn't think it mean as much as it do earlier in my life, but man, once I got into it, man, it's like something you can't let go, man. So it's the closest thing to playing you get, man. So and just being invested in coaching, being invested in kids' lives, man, it's like it's rewarding, man. It's like ain't no materialistic feeling. It's a good feeling trying to help kids do the right thing, especially coming from where we coaching at.
Yeah. We'll dive a little bit deeper into like where y'all coaching at and where we from. So go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with him on that too. And then, just building relationships that last forever. That's one of the biggest things. You have kids that they buy into what you're trying to teach them once they feel comfortable with you, and then on top of it, you have that those relationships that last a long time. So that's the main thing for me. I talk to kids that I coach, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So just to have them reach out, they can tell that you cared about them when you did coach them. So that's one of the main things for me. And that grind, because I was a hooper. I hoop 3-4 times a day some days. You know what I'm saying? So you know how we used to go to the Southside Mission. That probably is my third time hooping that day. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get kids to feel like, I'm trying to get kids to, understand like, man, you don't just do it in practice and go home. Like, man, it go beyond that. If you really want it, you're going to put that work in. So, you got social media to distract kids nowadays, but when they see you care about them, they listen to you. So that's a good thing with me. So
yeah, that's key. So I can go next. I've coached football for 13 years now. This last year I took a step back and was like just pretty much a data analyst. But I'm getting that itch, boy. Like, I've been away from it too long, so I'm getting that itch. Like, it's about that time for me to step back into it. So, yeah, man. What does coaching mean to me, man? It means, like y'all said, relationship. But like with I can talk for me and Keith, like not having a father in our life, understanding that concept that some of the kids we coach might be living that same story, being able to be that replacement. That's huge for me. Like being able to be something that they don't have, and being able for them to communicate and talk to me and be able to come to me and open themselves up to me. Right? Some of our kids they're thick skinned, so they try to be tough and not something wrong with them. They don't want to say it. But when you get that one kid who's like that to actually open up and say what's wrong with them and communicate with you, man, that's fulfilling, right? Like I had kids in my last school, like he couldn't. One kid, they told me, he's your job. Like, we need you to get him to, man, this dude made All-State because I became personal with him and he was able to open up to me and I was able to talk to him and mentor him and mold him into the right way. So that's the most rewarding part is when you can get the kids to open up and loosen up and be able to talk to you about anything, not just football or sports in general, basketball, but anything, right? So that's one of the most rewarding things to me.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know my coaching background because it was I wouldn't say it was short lived, but it was eventful. So I started off as a student coach at Eureka College because of injury. So I coached a year, then I played the year after that. But then I coached at Bloomington High School. I had some great mentors at Bloomington High School for a couple of years. Then I was a head high school football coach in Chicago. And what I learned at that time, what it meant to me is that when you first get into sports, you think, man, I just love the sport, right? I want to teach kids the skills of football, how I know how to make them better, how to more effective players. But it slowly became, especially when I got to Bloomington, it slowly became about building the whole man, right? Molding the whole man. Because so often I was like, man, he needs more than that, right? He needs more than a coach. He needs a mentor. He needs a father. He needs a brother, right? And so it was in urban prep. Even when I coached urban prep, they'd even lifted that a little more. So it meant the world to me, and so I bought into it. And as a head coach, man, we'll talk about this further, but you had to come out of pocket. You had to spend time. You had to make sacrifices. But the crazy thing about it though is that I love doing that. It was a sacrifice, but I had because I was helping these young men become better men. It wasn't about an athlete for me, right? It wasn't about the athletes. It wasn't about the athletes. Like, will this young man in front of me go and be a productive citizen of society, right? And that sport thing gonna come along. If the sports, if you can get that sports thing, great. But I was about, can I build this young man to leave out of this school and be successful in life? And that was my passion for those 4 years. Of course, I got out of coaching because I became an administrator in schools. And I think about it all the time. Did I do the right thing? And I miss coaching all the time, but I'm able to make a more macro effect right now because of my position being a principal. But that coaching was powerful, man. I had 60 boys that counted on me every day, man. And there's not a time where I didn't love going to practice, right? We may snap on them one time, kick them out of practice, but at the end of the day, I loved going to practice because I was molding these young men to enter their own greatness. And Kevin, we look on Facebook and we see them dudes today, man, it's a blessing. Yeah. It's just a blessing to see them dudes be so successful and be great fathers. See, I mean, almost all of them got kids now, and to see them be fathers, man, that I feel like I've achieved, right? My mission is I've achieved the mission of ensuring that I gave those young men what they needed to be effective young men in their community. So that's what it's about for me. It's about the needs of those young men.
And so with that, right? So we all have what it means to us and why we do it, but we had to have somebody that we looked at, another coach that coached us or was around us that I wouldn't say mirror ourselves off of, but we learn from in order to develop ourselves as coach. So, like, who is that coach for you? I can go first for me. The coach that molded me into the coach I was is Coach Webster, my old wrestling coach, right? Because he was a very personable coach where you could talk to and open up to, and he showed that he loved you and he communicated effectively. And I had to learn later in my life coaching that my methods when I first got into coaching, I was doing what my football coach was doing when I first got into it, going there cussing kids out and whatever. And I had to learn that each coach, each player, you have to treat each player differently. Right. And I had to go back to the way Coach Webster did things. Like, he treated each one of us different and relate to us differently, and that's how he was able to connect with us. So that's my person who I say is my person that I looked up to when it came to coaching, or who I modeled myself after.
And I'm gonna piggyback off you because that's mine too. And let's just I just want to get time to give Coach Webster kudos. I don't know if people understand and if he understands the effect that he had on so many lives, so many of those, not only freshman football players at Manual, but those wrestlers. Everything that I do as a coach and in my mentoring is predicated on something that I learned from him, right? From faith, from hard work, from work ethic. Coach Webster, he didn't allow us to cheat ourselves, right? And he not only focused on us becoming great wrestlers and great football players, it was about young men. It's like, when you leave Manual High School, who are you going to be, right? And he preached that to us. We could have lost every match, and the reason why it was so successful is that we were terrible. Our junior year, we didn't have no seniors on our wrestling team, and we were arguably one of the best teams in a long time for Manual, because he had instilled that leadership and that hard work ethic, and and that teamwork and brotherhood into that wrestling team, man. I'll say it straight out front on this next podcast. He was like a father to us, man. He was legit a father to us. This I'm gonna say it. This white guy from Washington mentoring these black and mostly black with Hispanic young men and being a father figure to them. City kids versus somebody from worked out in the country, and he took us under his wing and turned us into some dogs, man. But he loved us like we is his own kids. And so, man, I owe a lot to Coach Webster, man. He's the one coach whenever I talk about mentors and who had a major impact in my life, it's Coach Webster is always going to be the coach at the top of the list, always.
Yeah, he seemed like he ain't back down from nothing either. That was another thing.
Nope.
Yeah, I'll go ahead, man. Mike Lawless, I know he on from the other side of town, but he was a track coach at Central, man. He's not the football coach, but he cared for kids. He cared for kids, man, individually. Like he had superstar state athletes, and then he had dudes that was just getting by, but he cared for them all the same. He treated them all the same. Like then they say when you coach, you can't treat everybody the same. You just treat everybody fair. Because you're not gonna be able to treat all kids the same. So, but he treated everybody fair. As far as in the coaching, I say Cortez Blake. He's a JFL coach around here, older guy. I don't know if y'all guys know him, but he really instilled coaching into me and made it a passion of mine. When I started coaching with my son back when he was 8 years old, that's when I really got into it. Started coaching with him, and he kind of just gave me somewhat of a foundation on what I need to do as far as coaching. So that was be my two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, mine definitely was Coach McClain. I mean, he make you passionate. If you're not passionate about it after playing for him, then you picking the wrong sport. I mean, he'll make you want to run through a wall for him. You know, some of the stuff he do off the court too, I didn't see before I got there. You know what I'm saying? So to see how he care about people and his community and his players, it was just like, man, I'm playing for the right coach, and man, he was definitely that father figure that a lot of us was missing in high school. You know what I'm saying? So because he'd get on you too, so it wasn't like he was a easy going coach. He had that part to him that, you know, it's not a fear thing, but like when he speak, the room get quiet. So major respect, man, much respect for him, man. I'm gonna definitely say Coach McClain, man. He
rest easy, Coach. Rest easy.
Yeah, rest in peace, Coach. But he definitely was one of one for sure.
And I'm glad that he's getting the honor, and the honor for him is not going to be not dying, man. You know what I'm saying? So often things happen, and you know we start to forget about people, man. But the impact that man had on Peoria, and man, his name should live in that city forever. And I hope it do. You know, I hope that his name live in that city forever. So.
Yeah.
So man,
he make you go.
Man.
He make you go extra hard.
Let's dive a little. Yeah. Let's dive into our side of town, man. I know, DB, you didn't grow up on the South, did you?
I grew all my
Oh, you did?
my first 12 years.
South End, maybe he just was up there,
South, man. I lived on the South with the Central.
I don't know why. I don't know why I thought you was on the hill, but so that makes it easier, man. Let's talk about our side of town, man. Let's talk about so. When it comes to coaching, man, we know where we're from, so everybody listen to this podcast. To be clear, we from South Side of Peoria, Illinois, right? I call it the dirt, but man, hey, I love being from the South Side. I don't care what nobody say. That's my side. So as being coaches, right? We love doing it, right? But there's some obstacles. Knowing where we're from and where we came from and what we know, the lifestyles that goes on the South End, the stigma that has been placed on the South Side is who we are and what we are. How do y'all, especially you two who are actually coaching down there at this current moment, how do you navigate that negative spotlight that's being placed on the South Side, and how do you just weave your way through it to try to build these programs back up to, man, what we used to be, man. Because we used to be, man, it was that premier athletic school, right?
Yeah.
We were that school,
Mm-hmm.
and we know why it dipped, right? We know why it dipped. We're not gonna get too deep into why it dipped, but how do you guys navigate like dealing with people that want to join gangs or do drugs all day or be in the wrong crowds? How do you navigate keeping your kids away from that?
So with me, I just use that negative energy. I was gonna say I just use that negative energy to fuel kids to be great, man. I've been there in their shoes, and I know what it's like to, you know what I'm saying, dip into that wrong direction. So for me, I just tell them like the stuff you do, it ain't just about you. You know what I'm saying? You doing it for your families. You know what I'm saying, and basically your whole like neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So when people go and say, "Oh, I'm from this neighborhood, this and that," how about you change that narrative and do it in a positive way? And when you go somewhere and be great, you can put your neighborhood on that way. You know what I'm saying? And because the first thing they do is they look at the South saying, "Oh, we this, we that." You know what I'm saying? And I tell kids all the time, like, I could have worked in a different direction. I chose to be around here with y'all because I know y'all need this, positive, role models and people who really care about y'all to lift y'all up to be great at something. Because we got all the talent. You know what I'm saying? They just need that push.
Yeah. And the same thing he said, man. Like one of the things I take into coaching is like be who you need. Like, you know what I'm saying? Be the person that you need to be when you was growing up. Cause me and Paul, like we was around each other,
Mm-hmm.
15, you know what I'm saying? Till I went to college and he went to college. We was around each other 14, 15, 16, all the way through we was like 20 years old. Like, and we always chose to be somewhat different from what was completely around us, you know what I mean? And that's what we really try to instill in our kids that we coach. Like, you don't have to just fall into the crowd, man. Like, falling into the crowd leave you dead or in jail.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it too many times, too many stories of great athletes, you know what I mean, potential wasted, all that stuff. That stuff is just, it's like a never-ending cycle, man. And that's what you try to get to kids to realize, man. You point out things to them, kind of explain things to them, explain, man, watch what this go on with this, watch what go on with that. So, because they don't like to listen to what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? They got to see it, especially now with the social media. They got to feel it, touch it, to see it before they believe it. You know what I mean? No faith. So that's why I try to have faith in the process,
Yeah,
man,
because that's what I
and
was
just
going to
try to
say.
be different. Like, try to be different, man, because it's easy to do what they doing. It's hard to be different. So that's the main thing I emphasize down there, man. Stray away from the crowd. Be different.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them have no
man.
hope to
I'll jump in real quick, man.
You
go ahead,
bro.
Paul. Go ahead.
I was gonna say a lot of kids they already they don't have no hope. You know what I'm saying? So you got to tell them like, you can't think you gonna fail because that's what goes on around you. It's in your family. This person didn't do nothing. No. You can be the person that changed it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I try to install in a lot of kids. Cause they feel like, man, I ain't gonna make it anyway. Oh no, yes you will. You just got to put that work in. It can happen. You know what I'm saying? So if I can come back and be positive and do something good, you can do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to first say I should have knew DB was from on the South End because his last name was Bailey.
That's part of the reason I got kicked up the hill, man. My
Right.
mama, she's from a different side of the family. She said, man, your cousin down there, I heard everything I need to hear. Go up the hill. Like, man, so,
He used to kick with us every day, bro, in the summer. Every day.
Yes.
Yeah. So man, hey, I want to break real quick before I get to that same topic. Let's break the stigma real quick, man. I am from the South Side of Peoria, Harrison Homes, Section 8, from the dirt, bro. I have 2 master's degrees. So for all the kids that might be listening, or people listening that say they can't do it, or not only am I got 2 master's degrees, I'm in the Hall of Fame in my college for football, right? So for everybody who think they can't do it, man, I'm from the South Side of Peoria. It can't be done like if these two coaches just said. You have to want it. You have to want something different, man. You have to want something different. You can't live by the stigma and what people say you are, man. Change the writing on the wall. Like you write your own destiny, man. And I agree with y'all that it's hard dealing with because me and Keith also coach in the inner city of Chicago, so we deal with the same type of issues, right? Kids want to be in gangs and run around and do crazy things and just trying to be a mentor and showing them that, man, it's something better out there for you, man. There's greatness if you're willing to work for it. Not everything, especially kids nowadays, they want everything handed to them.
I want to see it right
No,
now.
you have to work, man. You have to work.
You hit it right on the nose, bro. They scared of the work. You know what I'm saying? Like we had people that was cold, but they ain't want to go and put that work in. You know what I'm saying? That's you hit it right on the nose. That work is what they afraid of. So.
And when you say work, we're not just talking about on the field, the court, the whatever. We're talking about in the books too. You're talking about totality. You can't just be great athletes without the grades. Like, ain't no D1 coach looking for a kid that's great with talent with no grades. How you gonna go to Notre Dame if you got a 1.0 GPA, but you the best running back in the nation? They're not gonna pick you up.
Right.
It don't work that way.
And that's what was explained to them freshmen, sophomores all the time, man. Like it's a struggle with them at first. Some of them catch on, some of them don't. But it's like, hey man, after your sophomore year, you still playing with grades, man. You gonna let the program use it. You know what I mean? You gonna let the program just play your two years out. You did that. They didn't do that. They're not gonna not put you on the court because you're not, or the field because you're not. Because you ain't got no 3.0 or 2.5 or higher, but we gonna play you. But you doing this to yourself, man. You doing this to yourself. You're not trying to project. All the resources be there, be readily available. We reach out to them, we put it in their face all the time, man. Like Paul snatched some dudes out the weight room today. Hey, go to study table. I got a couple dudes like Jeremiah. Hopefully he'll have a success story. He from the Harrison going D1. You know what I mean? So like that's a story that we can tell, that we can share. You know what I mean? Like it's to do different, you gotta be different, man. There's no in between. Can't do both is what I always talk to him about.
Yeah.
Hey, and you reminded me too. I want to make sure tomorrow when I see him, I'm gonna just, if he in there working, I want to let him know that how proud of him I am, because a lot of times you got to keep installing at the kids, let them know that what you're doing is major, man. Everybody not doing that, so he's still in there putting that work in. So right, you want to keep him going. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but what first thing he did when he seen me coming to walk in the weight room, he come to me. You know what I'm saying? Because he know you can tell when players tell when people care about him. You know what I'm saying?
That encouragement. You don't need that encouragement. Yeah. You don't get it everywhere.
Yeah.
Hey, Kev, before I jump in on, I don't want to speak on that topic yet, because what I want to say is going to be a direct plea down to one of your points when we start talking about community and support. Because I can talk about the obstacles, but I want to give the people who are on who watch this podcast that may be in political positions some insight and some needs and some that'll help not only the south side of Peoria, but will help our urban communities be successful in having the tools to rear our kids in the right direction.
So let's just go there. Let's just jump there.
Well, I will say this. I have a tough time coming back to Peoria and driving down driving down Lincoln and seeing the deterioration of our community. And the reason why it bothers me, because there's one more, regardless of all the history of the gang violence, everything on the South Side, the South Side of Peoria used to be a very vibrant place, right? I think that one of the biggest things that is missing is it took away a lot of our community centers. A lot of our community centers have disappeared on the south side of Peoria. Not only that, it's turned into a food desert. It has turned into a jobless market to where our parents and families are having to leave the south side to find employment, or you have to leave. The Aldi is now up on university. I didn't even realize that Aldi's all the way up on university now. So now we've created a food desert. We created a jobless community. We've created a housing market that is diminishing. I own a house in Peoria, and I'm upside down on that mortgage because of the diminishing property value. You got houses that were vibrant and big and built are now breaking down. And I think what we're doing as a community is not making our kids and our athletes successful, right? For instance, if we took a focus on the needs of our young men and women as a whole child, right? We can sit here and say they need a better weight room. We can say they need better facilities. But if we not take care of them mentally, if they ain't got no food in their stomach, if they ain't got nowhere to lay their head, don't none of that matter. We can have the best facility in the world, and that kid is not going to thrive in that. So first of all, the foundation of Peoria needs to be fixed. Right. And I think it starts with not only addressing some of those issues, but also addressing the community support aspect, because I'm glad with the new leadership that we have in power in Peoria. And I think change is going to come about with that. But I just want to make it clear that you have a lot of great young men and women on the south side of Peoria that can be developed to do major things. But we're not banking on that. We're not embracing that, right? We see this as this area down the hill that is slowly dying and eroding instead of putting resources in to grow it. All right, for instance, and one thing I come back to this, I don't know if y'all know this, but my ultimate goal when I graduated college was to come back to Peoria Manual specifically and teach and coach. That was my goal. My goal was I subbed there for a semester after I graduated, and I wanted to be at Manual and make a difference in the lives of those young people in Manual, both athletically and academically. Y'all know I didn't get an interview. I didn't get a call. I didn't get an acknowledgement. Now God had better things for me. I went to Urban Prep. I went to Bloomington. Now I'm a principal with my doctorate, right? But I think we have so much talent and ability. That's why I'm glad what you're doing with DB and PB, bringing people from the community to come back and to reshape our kids' lives, because we have so much talent within that city that can change the direction of the South Side. And honestly, without the combination of schools, Manual can go back to being a powerhouse immediately. But there has to be some political and social upheaval or some political and social development that happens that puts resources in our families' lives and in our kids' lives, right? Because if I can feed you, if I can put something in your stomach, right, I can get you to practice. But I'm not going to sit at study tables, right, with an empty stomach, right? I'm not coming to practice with an empty stomach. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think our resources are not only on the athletic side, right? We mentor these boys, and guess what? We know the streets, man, right? If I'm hungry and I got to go to the streets to get some, do what I got to do to get some money, that's what I'm going to do, right? We can preach to them and have them find a way, but at some point in time, we gotta embrace that whole child, right? We gotta embrace that whole kid, and that's what y'all doing, man. Paul going to that young man tomorrow saying, "Man, I'm proud of you going to study tables." People don't understand how much of a long way that's going to go, right? That investment, but we need to investigate as a city on the other side too, right? It needs to be invest on the other side too, because think about it, man. Like Paul said, we have the Southside Mission, we have the Girls and Boys Club. Those pieces are starting to erode, but they were so instrumental in our lives. The people sitting on this podcast, so instrumental in our lives and us being who we are, that I don't know why people don't see that, how instrumental they are and why they need to be there and why we need to invest in those things, right? Think about it. I think about Frankie Williams, man. I remember we played the Mission versus the Boys Club, and Frank, like, you have Frank just killing the Mission, right? Because that was our home away from home. Mission was our home away from home. The Boys Club was their home away from home, right? We got everything we needed at the Boys and Girls Club and the Mission, right? If we was hungry, we got fed. We got mentorship, right? And that's what I think the South Side needs to pool together its resources with the help of our political and community leaders that say, nah, we can't continue to let this go the way it's going. Because you got people like us in here who's willing to mentor. But man, come on, man, we need some resources. Let's just be honest about
Hey,
it.
bro.
100%
Hey,
agree, man.
people don't know how important the Southside mission is. People don't know how important the Southside mission and the Boys and Girls Club was, because you take a time away from, some of us kids that was really, doing stuff they ain't had no business doing. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we started to look forward to that, whereas every Wednesday or every Tuesday and Thursday going to those places, because, a lot of our friends was doing, stuff that they didn't have no business doing and getting in trouble and going to jail. So, us being able to go to those places and kill time, that meant a lot, especially for me, because you never know what, could have been doing with that time I wasn't there. You know what I mean? So I still thank Willie and the rest of the crew. Perry Hunt, Willie Joe, and man, them people, them people way more important than they know. You know what I'm saying? Willie Johnson was boy. That dude was something else.
Urban League used to have a little program called Man to Man. Still see Big P Thomas around. He taught us a lot, man. Just little small groups like that.
Oh, you had to work and go to school.
Yeah, TSTM, all that stuff, kind of stuff. Kind of faded away.
Oh yeah. My friends' parents was on drugs.
Go ahead, Paul.
And they was in the streets, doing stuff they, how they had to get money. And my mom snatched me like, nah, you going to the Urban League. We're going to get you a summer job. And, you going to do it the honest way. So that place was beneficial.
So man, if y'all could say anything as y'all are coaching down there right now, being big time, like DB, what you got, like 50, 60 kids on the squad? Like
on a good
this,
about 60.
This what people don't understand, right? And I'm gonna get to the question I'm gonna ask y'all real quick, but think about a regular day for a kid that's in school. People gotta understand that coaches spend more time with the kid than their own parents do. Think about it. Let's say the kid wake up at 6:30 in the morning. They'll probably spend an hour with their family doing breakfast in the morning. Come to school, have different teachers throughout the periods. Maybe one of those teachers is a coach, possibly, right? But then they go and spend 3 hours with a coach. Then at the end of the day, 1 hour with their family. So the one person or the one group of people that they spend the most time with is their coach. That's the person that's going to be able to put a lot of influence in them. So it's important that guys like y'all are given the adequate resources and adequate means to be able to grow these kids to be great. Because, man, like I got this quote, man. Let me pull up real quick from Billy Graham, man. He said a coach will impact more young men in a year than an average person will in a lifetime. Think how deep that is, man. In a year, a coach will impact more children than most people will in their lifetime. So my question is for y'all, man. If y'all could say something to the mayor or the city councilman or even the district administrators at 150, if y'all could say something, what would y'all say about what y'all need and what y'all hope to see in the upcoming future, like for the South Side, for y'all programs? I mean, what would y'all say to them, man?
I just need more investment into the youth, man. Like, we do a lot of, reactionary programs, I would say. We need to more preventative programs, you know what I mean? Like, there's like one big program around Peoria about 3-4 years ago was like, don't shoot. Like, man, how we get to this point? You know what I mean? So we should be at a point where we trying to catch them before they almost know what a gun is. And teach them, this is how you live. This is how you function with other people. This is how you eat. This is how you take care of yourself. Like, it's resources for that, because the resources that come after everything is, like, thug life. After thug life, the acronym of thug life, the hate you give, it comes back and it's tearing up the community because they don't treat the kids like a kid. What I say, like, I understand, like, you don't want to time the programs to give back to the parents. Like, I get that. Like, some parents, you got enough sense where you could go provide for your child. But the kids that don't have that, man, they need a fair chance, man, a fair start. You know what I mean? They start a head start, kindergarten. They need proper nutrition. Man, they need a fair start, man. Like, I understand you can't save everyone, but they need a fair start to where, like, they shouldn't be lacking educational supplies when there's federal money to fund don't shoot. You know, so the 5-6-year-olds that we could prevent from wanting to kill somebody, you know, we could take care of better. You know what I mean? And then them up to take care of our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And like then you get to the athletic part because like we all agree, all the best athletes come from the South Side, like hands down. Like ain't no question because we know dudes that never played a high school sport, never played an organized high school sport that'll kill half these dudes around here in their respective sports. You know what I mean? So it's just like trying to instead of reacting to what they doing when they get older. Let's prevent them from what they're doing when they get older. Stop reacting so much. There's a lot of reaction going on around here.
Man, that's big. That's big.
And some of the best ways to prevent it is adding some of those things, bringing some of those things back that we had when we was kids. Yeah. But at the same time, explain the importance of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, explain the importance of it so they don't mess it up. You know what I'm saying? Because I think nowadays kids take the stuff that we had for granted. You know what I'm saying? So when they get little programs, they don't know how to treat it because they don't understand how important it is in keeping you, busy or keeping you, out the streets and, just still learning stuff as you go, like outside of school. So even though like we got to play and do different stuff at the Southside Mission, a lot of us learn how to pray and do different things like that we didn't know how to do. You know what I'm saying? We come from the hood. They talking about praying. We don't know the prayer. Like, you know what I'm saying? But we picked up on a lot of stuff like that when we got there, being around people, you know what I'm saying, who was like real, men and women. So stuff like that.
Yeah. That's where we learn how to tie ties and everything, man. I just think about it, man. The reason why Keith is Keith, man, is because that's why I think Paul keep mentioning about the boys, Southside Mission, the Boys Girls, that's critical because, man, all my tutoring happened at the Southside Mission. All of my like law mentorship, teacher mentorship happened at the Southside Mission. Me learning how to do things that a man does happened at the Southside Mission. So I think if we, like I said, we have to feed the whole. We have to address the whole child, man. We like I can create you. You can get manual athletics back to dominance, right? If we treated the whole child, that's the simple answer, right? But why would I want to come to a basketball practice or come to a football practice and I haven't eaten since dinner yesterday? You know what I'm saying? Like. Or why would I want to go to a study session or a study hall and I didn't get the assignment that they did in the first place, right? Because my needs not being met. I haven't been tested. You haven't addressed my learning disabilities. It's just, you got learning disabilities. So they not going to be successful. And so there's so many athletes that do not become athletes. Y'all see them walking around the hallway. They're athletes. Yeah. But the community has given up on them, right? Or they have given up because they need something else. And so if we want to bring back, because think about it, I just think about that 99 football team, Kev, where we was you just couldn't touch us, right? You just couldn't touch us.
Dudes I grabbed blame with. If you put that out there,
you know what I'm saying? Right. And if you look at that squad, man, if you think of that squad, man, needs were being met in that squad, man. I think about how many of us were going into those other programs when we left Manual, right? We are like, even though we were still dealing with the gangs and the drug violence, man, we could have easily slipped over to that side of things. But even though that violent stuff was there, we had this other piece like, no, man, let's go this way. Do our kids have that now? Do our athletes have that now? On top of not having that and then not having the resources to be successful athletically. Right? How big is y'all weight room? Is it still the same weight room, Dennis?
It's still in that room right now, but we working on moving it up to that upper gym. We working on that. I harass them all the time about that.
But think about it. If you go to every other weight room in that city and school, man, you should come see my one in Texas, man. The one at the school I was at in Texas.
Man.
It's like 4 classrooms.
That's the thing that like a kid shouldn't pay for. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as what decisions their parents made. You know what I mean? Like the decision their parents made to have them in the school. They in school. Don't get me wrong. They're making the right decision by having their child in school. Okay, they can't afford to send them to the Richwoods or don't want to send them to Richwoods or Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't the kids that's attempting to do something, you know what I'm saying, basically out the mud, as they like to say, why they can't have the same weight room facility? What's the hold up in that when it's all, you know what I'm saying, sort of the same money? Why they can't have the weight room facility? I know tax dollars and boosters pay for a lot of it, but can we at least get up to par where we at, where we at least saying our weight room is decent? You know what I mean? And then all the stuff that Manuel has done from the 80s basically up to about 2010, like how? Like I know why, you know what I mean? Because kids from here don't supposed to do this, do what y'all was doing, dominating. You know what I mean? That's the main reason why. Want to keep on holding them down, keeping that socioeconomic power on. But I'm fighting for them, man. We're going to get a weight room. We're going to get that weight room shifted to where we got more space and more room. Yeah.
And I hate that we have to have that discussion, man, because it is like y'all as coaches, right? And we saw this up north, Kevin, are working quadruple time to change these kids' lives, and there's always a weight holding you back, right? There's always something holding you back. Equipment, the lack of research. There's always something, and so we could put so much energy into mentoring and making them better young men for society, but we are trying to do everything because there's nothing out there to help us get those needs met, right? And we've all here bought equipment, we've all here bought food, we've all here bought clothes. You know what I mean? Took trips. Man, it's just. But will we change any of that for the world? Nah, man, because we know what those kids need and we love those kids, man. I think about my kids from Urban Prep, man, and I see all those kids being great fathers, and I'm like, that's my win. It wasn't a paycheck because we didn't get paid a lot for coach. Man, we got paid, but seeing those kids be great fathers, graduate college, man, that's my reward. That's my check. That's all I need. I could have did that for free.
It's to the point where you want to level the playing field for them a little bit, man. That part of it, like just the weight room part of it, that's the tip of the iceberg. But it's like the treatment of the kids from down there, like it really needs to be adjusted. The view needs to be adjusted, man. Yeah, they rough. Yeah, they have a rough exterior, but 90% of them, 95% of them, good dudes. You know what I mean? But they just call it products of your environment. They just need to take a step back yourself and talk to these dudes and realize that they good dudes. They good people. They just need to be taught different, need to be leaded different, need to be steered different, stuff like that, man. It's a struggle, but it's I signed up for it, so.
But I'm gonna say this: you want to make it a quick. Well, sorry about that, Kevin, but you want to make it first change, City Peoria. Put lights and bleachers down there on Griswold.
They got lights now,
and watch how that community show up. Put a stadium, put some lights and some bleachers down there on Griswold.
They got lights now already. They got lights.
Man, our community can show up if they give an opportunity to show up. Our community will show up.
Yeah, man. I just want to say, man, to DB and Paul, man. If y'all don't ever hear, man, we love y'all. We love what y'all doing, man, for the South Side. Don't think it's not being noticed. It's not nobody's paying attention to what y'all doing, man. Y'all doing great things. And to all the coaches out there, man, y'all doing great things in the south side of Peoria. So, man, just y'all both keep doing what y'all doing. Keep loving those kids, man. Keep pouring into those kids, bro. Things are gonna happen, man. Like I think as long as we keep pushing and keep pressing and keep going, things happen. So y'all, you and Paul, man, keep pressing, keep pushing,
He's
man. I know
coming back,
man,
man.
keep that. Yeah, man, bro. I think about bro.
Well, both of y'all.
All honesty, bro. I think about it. I probably think about coming back like probably every other day, bro. I'm like, man, I want to go back to the crib, man. I think I can help out and do some great things, man. Hopefully one day it all work out, man. Everything work out, and I'm able to do that, man. Cause I would love my whole goal in life was always to go back to manual and do something.
Yeah,
It's always been that, right?
Yeah.
So,
But what I hope that everybody got from this podcast, man, and I think you put something on our notes, Kev, that any coach, any political leader, any community activist, I hope what you got from this is that it's more than X's and O's. It's this thing, this mentorship, this coaching. It's more than X's and O's, and we need man, DB and PB need y'all help, right? We our kids are at a disadvantage. We are working with kids that are at a disadvantage, and it's more than X's and O's. Manuel isn't struggling athletically because we don't have the playbook, right? We're not Manuel's not struggling because we don't have the talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more than X's and O's. And until we as a community begin to see that, there won't be no change. So I'm pleading to the community. I'm pleading to the politicians of Peoria that there is a vested interest, not even if you don't want to invest interest in the infrastructure of the South Side, invest in those kids.
Yeah, that's
if you don't do nothing,
my thing,
invest in those kids, because you're going to have coaches like us that's going to put in 120% every day. Right, we gonna put in 120% every day, but man, if you come with us and you invest in kids, I guarantee you see stuff start turning around. Not only athletically, but socioeconomically, you're gonna see because we got to help out those families, we got to help out those communities. So I just hope everybody that sees this just knows that it is more than X's and O's. That's the tip, like Liz said, that's the tip of the iceberg. X and O, when it comes to athletics, that's the tip of the iceberg. Right. There's so much social political below that's stopping our kids from being the best people that they can be, that we don't have control over. But we doing the best with what's been given to us. So I hope people understand that, man. Yeah, we got the playbooks and we got the athletes, but it's more to this thing. Yeah, anything else before we close out, fellas, man? We want to keep y'all too much longer.
I appreciate y'all having me.
I'm proud of y'all, though, man.
Well, thanks, man.
For sure.
I told y'all, man.
Proud of y'all, man.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it, bro. Proud of y'all boys, too, man. Keep doing what y'all doing. Man. But we definitely trying to turn it around down here. You know what I'm saying? It's going to ruffle some feathers, but we're going to get it how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, like Kevin said, don't nobody
win down here.
Like Kev said, if don't nobody tell y'all appreciate it, man, we telling y'all, man.
We telling
y'all,
man.
We appreciate y'all, and keep, because it was coaches like y'all that changed our lives, man. We talk about Coach Webster. It was coaches like y'all that changed our lives, and y'all gonna change somebody's life. Somebody gonna go get their doctorate too. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna go get their double masters too, and it's because of the work that y'all putting in. So then keep doing that, man. Whatever support y'all need from us, man, just ask. We got y'all.
I appreciate y'all,
yes,
man.
Sir.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yes, sir.
Definitely appreciate it. Whenever y'all get a chance, man, we definitely gonna have to, how y'all stop in and give these boys a conversation, man, because y'all homegrown. They need people they need to know. So
they need to see it. Told you, faith is lacking a little bit around the kids these days, but they see some stuff from these people that made change out of the same circumstances. They start believing.
Y'all give me a time in the day I'm there.
Yeah, y'all let us know when. I'll fly up. Just let me know.
All right,
bro. We definitely gonna make that happen for sure. For both teams, both sports.
Yes.
I'm all in there. So,
yes, sir.
All right, bro.
All right, man. All right, y'all be safe, man. That's TuVues, man. We out of here.
All right.
All right.